This is some fabric my friend gave me. She didn't want it anymore. And there's about 2 yards of it. It's nice. It's just a nice cotton eyelet. And I love an eyelet fabric. So I've been thinking about what I want to do with it. There's not a ton, but there's just enough to do something. When I first started learning how to sew garments, I made this, which is called the Fawn Dress. And it is a really simple, super beginner-friendly dress. But it's a little old. I made this several years ago and it's a little bit small. So I'm considering making it again and just, extending it a little or making it maybe as big as I can. It has kind of like a ruffled skirt sort of, so maybe I can just use up as much fabric as possible, make these a little bit bigger. It is obviously see-through, so I think if I make this, it will definitely need to be on the slightly roomier side. I don't want it to be oversized, but I will obviously need to wear something underneath. First things first is this needs to be ironed. The selvages are really nice and wide and thin and subtle, so I would love to make them the seams as much as possible so that I don't have to finish every seam. Just trying to figure out the best way to do that. So I'm adding some extra in the front piece because I know this is a little bit small. So I'm going to just have it be on the selvage and see if I can keep it. Should I do it the other way around? Okay, so here's my front piece. It's supposed to have a seam down the middle. The back is supposed to be on the fold. However, I know that this is a little small and I want to extend it. My thought was extending it from the seam. If this has a seam, the back piece instead of the front, and the front is cut on the fold, because I don't know why I would want a seam in the front when I could have it in the back. And then I can just leave all this extra fabric and it can be very adjustable. So So I just tried on this top part and it fit pretty perfectly. So the pattern comes with a skirt piece, which is totally fine, but I kind of want to use as much of this fabric as I can. I don't want to have little weird random pieces left, so I'm gonna see by draping how much of the rest of the fabric I can use up. Okay, it fits really well actually. This fabric's not suitable for making bias tape out of, so I am going to use just some ready-made bias tape that I have. I wish it were a bit thinner, but we'll see. Maybe I can sort of fake the width of it a little bit, and I'm gonna do that on this seam that connects the waistband to the bodice, as well as the armholes and the neckline. Okay, so one problem is that this bias tape I used already on the inside is like a super bright white against this sort of more ivory tone. I don't know what I have. It's fine on the inside. You can't really tell through the fabric, so I'll leave that. But I might see if I have something else for the neckline and the arm side. Okay, I think I figured something out. I did not have anything better in my stash, but I've gone around once already on the inside, and normally what you'd do is, you know, you'd close this bias tape around the raw seam, or the raw edges, right? You'd do that, and then you'd sew again, and then you'd have this part that sticks out on the outside. But I'm going to fold it in one more time so that it's fully on the inside, and then it will look the same as the waistband does. Hi everyone! Thanks so much for watching this video, and thanks also for sticking with me through a somewhat inconsistent upload schedule. The truth is there are a lot of factors in why I can't post as often as I would like to with the sewing videos, but one of the biggest hurdles I face is having a good place to do the reveal. I know I've said it like a billion times that my apartment is so small, and it is, and there's just nowhere that looks good to do my reveals. So I hope you don't mind that I've given it a go in a different sort of format that could make things easier for me in the future. So hopefully you don't mind. I'm still gonna work on it, but after all that being said, I love how this dress turned out, and I had to make it in a second color. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!